Hi everyone, we continue with the VPC lab. In the previous class, we created four subnets, two subnets for each VLAN. So we have two VLANs, and we have a two region, VLAN 1, 2 in region Canada here, and another VLAN 1 and 2 in Singapore. So what I try to do now, I will try to create four computer or four server. For each subnet I will put it server. So after that we will check the communication between them, what we needed to do we need to do any configuration in the route table, do you need to add anything, how if those servers need to connect to the internet through direct connect to the internet, or we need a NAT environment or something like that. So all these topic we will try to lab it up and see what happens and check it out. All right, what we're gonna do now, we will go to the server services here, EC2. I will create four computer or four server for each region, or for each subnet I will put it one server, because we will do the same thing in the region Singapore. So I will do the Canada part, then I will stop the video and I will do the same thing in Singapore and back to you. So let's start with Canada here. I show you how can create the server. You can deal with any server here. You can see we have a Linux, we have a lot of type of server services here. So I will do with the Windows, which is the most easiest one, just to understand the thing. Later on, of course, we will deal with the Linux. So you can see here, I go with the 2012 Windows Server. This is a free use. We can use it free, so I just select it here. They say, okay, we can go for general purpose, which is mean the one CPU, 1 gig memory, quite enough for me. I just need to do ping actually. So next, here the important part. Here you have to select which network, which subnet. And again, if you don't prepare your network first, your EC2 cannot create it here. So that's why by default we have a VPC for each region. Okay, so I will try to say, okay, please put that guy in the VPC1, but the VPC1, as you can see, we have two subnets. So which one? I will put it in the net 1, which is the first subnet, 10.10.10.10.1 dot whatever. I have to select here for the first PC only, they call auto assign public IP. I need a public IP. I will say enable here. So why? Because I need to jump into that PC1 in the net 1 10.10.1 using the public IP, which is AWS will provide it to me. So from that server I will jump into another. I will test the communication to another. So we need one server per region. At least one server has public IP. This is very important. In Singapore, I will select the first server as well, included or enable the public IP. Right, I just leave everything as is and I just say next, add storage. By default, they give you 30 gig here. And you can change the type of your volume here. We can put it magnetic or whatever. So I just go with the SSD, no problem. Here they call a tag. We can put a tag or the name for the server. All right, this part, security group, is important here because I select Windows Server. So the way to access to the Windows Server is mostly use the RDP, remote desktop protocol, RDP. So that's why the AWS cloud server services, they select the RDP by default here, and they give me the port and they say, hey, you have to turn on this guy by default, because without this one we cannot jump into the computer, jumping to the server. If I select Linux, I will see here SSH, okay, because mostly to access to the Linux is use SSH. So I will say, okay, create this one, and you can put it wherever, any name here for. I'll put it name here. By the way, we can create security group, one security group for everyone in the same VPC. For another VPC, we cannot. You have to create another one. So we can say, or we can labeling that guy as a VPC 1 or 01 all for all subnet. Okay, so we create another one as well later on for the VPC2. So I say launch here. We can see this is the information. Just start to do it. Here is very important part. I guess if you are familiar with the AWS, we need to download the peer or key peer, which is help me to access the server. So I can create another one or choose existing one. No, I create another one. Let's say I will say okay, AWS -lab. Okay, so I download this guy because I needed to access. I needed that key peer. I needed access, or I will use it to access to the server later on. So I just say net instance. All right, the first server created now. So I create another one. This takes 2 to 5 minutes. I will say 2012 here. Then select. I keep everything default here. So here the important part, I say yes in the VPC1, and subnet right now is in net 2, which is 2020 dot whatever. So I don't need to turn on the public IP because I need to check it out. There is any communication between different subnet at the same VPC. So I just say next. All right, so the tag, I don't need tag here. So I just say next or storage. The security group, I can say existing one, which is I just created here for the VPC1 for all. So again, the security group is open the port for RDP protocol. So just launch. I will keep with the same key, which is AWS lab, and I acknowledge. I will use this key. All right, the second one now started to creating now. So I just create another one, launch instance, again 2012, and I will go here. Okay, that guy, I will put him in the VPC2, okay, in the subnet 1, okay, or 3, okay. I don't need public, only the first server I need public, so I'll just keep next here. As you can see here, when I select existing group security, they don't show me the old one for the VPC1. So I have to create it here, actually another one. And both subnet will be use the same security group. So I just say VPC02-all. Perfect. So I just say review and launch. So I will use the same AWS key lab. Then after that I will do the last server here. So last server, again I can put it here 2012, which is the free one. Then next. Okay, here I select VPC2. Remember net 4 VPC2, which is a 2020 dot whatever. Actually net 4 2020.2 dot whatever. Okay, so just next here, and after that next storage, no need tag right now. Here I will create it here the security group, which is they call specifically for another VPC. So I think I created already, so I just say here yes, use existing one. Which one? For VPC2, as you can see here. So I select that guy and launch here. I go with the same keep here, AWS lab, acknowledge it, then after that next. So now all my server is ready here. 4 server here is ready. If I go to the first or the bottom one, I go to this guy, you can see this is 10.10.2, which is mean in the net or subnet 2, as you can see here as well in the network. And you can see as well another one, the IP address 10.10.10.1. So we have 10.10.10.1 in the network 1, 10.10.10.2 in the network 2, in the subnet 2. Both of them in the same VPC. Both of them in the same VPC, you can see here. Let's jump into this guy just very quick here. This guy 2021, which is in the VPC number 2 and subnet number 1, or net number 3 actually, and here 2022. So two server in 2020 block, and another one 1010, or two server in the 1010 block. All right, I jump into the Singapore region and I create the same thing for server as well. Each server will be tied to the one subnet, and after that I pause the video right now and I will be right back. All right, I'm in the Singapore right now. You can see the Singapore region here and the 4 server ready to go now. Next video I will show you how to jump into the server, which is included a public IP right there, because we need something else which is they call internet gateway in order to access to the server. So see you in the next video to start to verification our connection and our communication between the servers inside the VPC.